I don't know. I'd say I'm reasonable.
Okay, that's completely unreasonable.
I'm reasonable.
I'm unreasonable.
You have no idea just how reasonable I have been.
Reasonable synonyms are sensible, rational, practical, fair, appropriate.
Fitting, suitable, logical.
All things I would definitely say describe me.
Do they describe you?
Welcome to I'm Reasonable with Zainab Johnson.
I'm reasonable. Yes, I most certainly am. At least I try to be. Welcome to another episode of I'm Reasonable with Zainab Johnson. I am Zainab Johnson. On a scale from air conditioning in the window to central air, how reasonable have we been this week? I know. It's a heat wave in certain places. Not where I'm at. The temperatures are actually quite lovely where I am, but I know in cities and states across the country, the United States of America, there are heat waves, extreme temperatures. And so if you find yourself in a location that is experiencing extreme heat, I hope that you are able to find some relief, stay hydrated, all of those good things. Put on your sunblock, your SPF. Okay, what we talking about this episode, right? And what's up with Z? A lot of people be sending me stuff that they think is funny, and I don't really be finding it funny. In Z main topics, probably the most unreasonable news to come out of the Diddy case thus far. The headlines that I read recently via TMZ, it said, Iran may be the key to Diddy's defense in his sex trafficking trial. How? When? Why? Johnny Cochran would never. And then in Ask Z, to be or not to be an artist. You want to write scripts and be on stage, but a toxic ass corporate space is holding you hostage? We're going to talk about it on Ask Z. But first, of course, let's get into where you guys can see me live. If you are unable to see me live, you can always watch my special via Amazon Prime called Hijabs Off. It is available right now. It has been available and still is available via Amazon Prime, Hijabs Off. You can also check out my stand-up clips on every social media platform that I'm on. And you can watch my crowd work hour. Which is titled The Notebook. It's on YouTube. But live this weekend, I will be in Tampa, Florida, y'all. Tampa, Florida for the first time ever, headlining Tampa, Florida, Funny Bone. This weekend, Friday and Saturday, June 27th and 28th. Then I will be in New Jersey, Rutherford, New Jersey. New date alert. New date alert. Rutherford, New Jersey. Hasbrook Heights, that is in the Bergen County, New Jersey area. So that's Hackensack, Passaic, Meadowlands. Come see me, okay? That is July 11th and 12th at Bananas, a comedy club called Bananas. Because you must be crazy. It's Bananas. That is July 11th and 12th. I will have my friend Sydney Washington. If you've seen some of my shows in New York City, you see that Sydney Washington, who is a headliner in her own right, she opens up for me sometimes when I'm lucky enough to have her. She will be doing those shows with me. So definitely get your tickets. It'll be a fun time. Then July 18th and 19th, I will be in Stamford, Connecticut. July 18th and 19th at the New York Comedy Club in Stamford, Connecticut. July 18th and 19th. Then I'm heading over to London. I'm heading across the pond to London. July 21st through the 26th, I will be doing crowd work shows in London. That is a week of crowd work shows at Soho Theatre, Dean Street in London, July 21st through the 26th. And then to close my summer out, I will be spending the remainder of my summer in Edinburgh, Scotland. Edinburgh at the Edinburgh Fringe Festival. That is July 30th through August 24th. July 30th through August 24th. Edinburgh, Scotland, the UK. All those tickets are available in the link in the details of my podcast, along with all of my other dates, okay? We have Seattle, Portland, Philadelphia, Boston, Washington, D.C., West Nyack, New York, Cleveland, Ohio, Houston, Detroit, Addison, Texas, Dayton, Ohio, which is the Cincinnati area. And those specific dates and link to the tickets are in the details of my podcast. Okay, let's get into what's up with Z. I'm going to be honest with y'all. Y'all be sending me, not y'all specifically, but people out there be, sliding in my DMs and sending me the things that they think are funny. And I be like, I do give a courtesy, like laugh out loud. If it's really not funny to me, but I don't want to leave you on red, I'll be like, ha. Sometimes I'll just drop like the laughing emoji, and I get it, right? Sometimes some things people send me are supremely funny. Some things people send me are very funny, and I've already seen them because I be scrolling too. Some things people send me, they think that I'm going to find it funny because like I've referenced it in my comedy. I've referenced something closer to it. I've referenced something similar to it in like a stand-up set that they've seen. And because they find me so funny, they feel like, well, yeah, I share the same sense of humor as Zainab. I mean, she is my friend in my head. And so I know she gonna find this funny, and I don't be finding it funny. But I be lying. I be laughing like it's funny. So I wanted to know, is that unreasonable? Because today I did get a message. And I watched the whole skit that the girl sent me. And I don't know if it was a girl that this person sent me. And I was like, this don't really do it for me, but I don't want to leave her on red. She was clearly at my show and enjoyed it. And don't try to figure out if this is you. If you watching this, don't try to figure out if this is you. It's like when y'all come up to me and be like, I was the one that told you I was coming. I'm like, I hate to break it to you. I've gotten 40 of those DMs this weekend. Thankfully, I've gotten so many of that DM that you think only you sent me. I have received multiples. Okay. So don't be sitting at home like, damn, I ain't going to DM her no more because she's talking about me. No. This ain't about that. I just wanted to know, is it unreasonable that I politely pretend that I find some of the people that find me very funny, I pretend that I find y'all just as funny? Because I don't want to leave you on red. Is that unreasonable of me? Let me know. Okay. Z main topics. Did he do it or did he not do it? That is the question, right? So as of me taping right now, the prosecution has rested their case. Not only has the prosecution rested their case, but the defense has also rested their case. If you have been keeping track of this Diddy sex trafficking, drug smuggling, drug selling, RICO charge, this RICO case, this case of racketeering and using a criminal organization to commit crime, if you have been following it all, which I'm sure you have, I mean, at this point, I know there's this thing online that people are talking about that I don't quite understand, which is like black fatigue. And I'm sure that there's probably like white fatigue, but we got to have Diddy fatigue. I mean, there's Trump fatigue. It's all types of fatigue, right? But there got to be Diddy fatigue. But if you've been keeping up with it or not keeping up with it, both the prosecution and which is the federal government, and the defense, which is Diddy and his legal team, they have both chosen to rest their cases, meaning they have presented all of the evidence that they believe they have to get the verdict that they want. So the prosecution has taken 4 weeks, 6 weeks? How long has it been? It's been a minute. To lay out their case. They've had multiple witnesses. They, have had escorts. They've had his girlfriends. They've had sex workers. They've had assistants. They've had specialists come on the stand. They've had summary attorneys get on the stand, I believe. And then the defense decided not to call anyone. The defense did, after the prosecution rested, the defense did say that they wanted to present or enter more things into evidence, but they had no witnesses that they wanted to take the stand. And also, like everybody was probably waiting and hoping for, because you know, people really like a spectacle. People really wanted Diddy to like take the stand. And for no other reason, it's just you want to see it. You want to see it. You know, it ain't really nothing he could get up there and say or do this going to help the case in any way. It's nothing. All it is you just want to see it though. You know, it's like a car crash. Like, damn, what he going to do? Is he going to get up there and be lying? Is he going to get up there and talk about take that, take that? Is he going to be Harlem shaking? You get what I'm saying? Is he going to be up there crying? Is he going to throw himself on the mercy of the court? Like, what is he going to do? You know? But he did not take the stand. And most defendants don't take the stand in their own trials. But I read, like I said, a very unreasonable headline. Now, as we know, I talked about it on last weekend's live, which, might I add, I think a good job of talking about what's happening in Iran. And sidebar, I think the whole point of me, like, I was kind of like running through the series of events, right? But then I had this like question, right? I said, you know, I don't understand war like I don't understand traffic, right? But what do I always say? I always say, follow the money. I was like, why Iran? Why Iran? Why Iran can't have why the Persians? Why the Persians can't have nuclear weapons, right? If everybody else got nuclear weapons, why the Persians can't have some nuclear weapons? Yo, I don't even know why I forgot this. Follow the money. Joy Ann Reid, who used to have a show. She's a journalist. She's a media personality. She's an educator. She's many things. Very accomplished, intelligent woman and media personality. Was recently let go from her show at MSNBC, and now independently produces her own news show via YouTube. She did an interview on The Breakfast Club, and I would suggest I listen to the full interview, not the interview that they add to like their podcast or their like the shortened interview, which I typically don't do. It's rare that I listen to full interviews on The Breakfast Club. I listen to the full interview of Joy Ann Reid's on the Breakfast Club YouTube. If you want to understand, there's so many resources, but I just feel like she really lays it out very plainly why specifically the United States, why Israel, why even Saudi Arabia does not want Iran to have any sort of power, any sort of leverage, and definitely not nuclear bombs. Anywho, I saw this headline that read that not only does Diddy's defense team feel like the prosecution did not meet their burden of proof for this RICO charge, and therefore they were asking the judge to basically dismiss it. And the judge was like, well, I'm not going to do that. And then they were like, well, the prosecution did not meet the burden of proof for these specific charges, so remove these charges. And the judge was like, I'm not going to do that either. I'm gonna send all them charges to the jury. So then Diddy's team said they were going to use what's happening in Iran and all the crises of the Middle East as part of their defense. Basically, like, listen, don't worry about what's going on in his bedroom. Worry about what's happening in Iran. Which, in my opinion, is crazy and unreasonable. And like I said at the beginning of this episode, Johnny Cochran would never. First of all, they tried it. Also, there are always multiple things happening in the world at once. Sure, do things take precedence? Absolutely. People in Iran are not worried about the Diddy trial. People all around the world are not worried about the Diddy trial. This is domestic news. As much as Sean Diddy Combs was a global star, this is domestic news. But a potential World War III. That is global news. That is global news, and therefore not the same. So, Diddy's team was like, listen, okay, I understand that y'all don't like what my client do. I understand that you feel like it's morally wrong. I understand that he's doing stuff that most people wouldn't do, can't even imagine, fathom doing. However, it might be a war. Y'all need to worry about that. The federal government is wasting their time over here trying to prosecute my client. My client is over here just liking freak offs, and he liking to do things with escorts and prostitutes and his girlfriends. And y'all got bigger things to worry about. Why would you waste the tax dollars, and why would you waste the resources? And here's the thing. Like I said, they tried it. I think that came and went. I don't know. But it was wildly unreasonable to me, because here's the thing. Yes. Maybe we are. Maybe we found ourselves on the brink of another world war, which is very serious. Nobody is denying that. But if that can be the defense to Diddy's case, then that can be the defense to every criminal case. You sure? You sure you want to worry about me breaking into these houses? Because Iran, right? Are you sure you want to worry about me touching these kids? Because, Iran. Are you sure that you want to worry about me stealing all of this money from my employees' pension? Are you sure you want to worry about that and bring me up on charges and indict me for that? Don't you got to worry about Iran and their nuclear facilities that they don't even have, apparently? They tried it. So now that both the prosecution and the defense has rested, they now take a day. From what I understand, they take a day with the judge. There's nobody in the courtroom. The jurors are dismissed for the day, and the judge goes over they go over what can be said. The judge goes over the charges and the parameters of what the prosecution and defense can talk about in their closing arguments. Let me tell you something. Now, this is what I want to see. I know there's not cameras in the courtroom, but more than anything else in this entire trial, and I will admit, I think we all thought when this went to trial, I think that, I'll speak for myself, and you guys can let me know if this is a reasonable assumption. I believe that we all assumed that it was going to be some wild stuff. It was going to be some crazy stuff. People was going to get on stand like, you can't handle the truth. We was going to find, you know what I'm saying? It was going to be, I don't know. Yeah, there were some shocking things like, oh, wow, you like to rub someone else's, bodily fluids, ejaculated bodily fluids on your body after they've done that to your girlfriend. That's not really common as far as I know. But it was not, okay, so we saw, I don't know why I thought that something worse would be presented than that Cassie video we saw. Now, again, I know that footage of freak-offs and stuff like that was shown to the jurors in the courtroom, and that's something that we, the public, will not see, right? And so maybe, but even when they was watching, it was nobody nobody aghast, right? There was none of that, So I don't know. I just think that this wasn't as dramatic. And some people might be like, what? He was abusive. I'm not diminishing what has been alleged. I'm just saying, I thought the actual, I thought there'd be so much more, so many more dramatic moments. I mean, I just in terms of the performance of the case is what I'm saying. Anywho, I would love to see those closing arguments, because I'm just imagining, remember the movie In A Time to Kill? I mean, this ain't the proper closing argument, but remember In A Time to Kill when Matthew McConaughey was he described everything that happened to the little girl, and then he was like, now imagine if she was white. And then everybody in the courtroom was like, what is this that I feel? Empathy? Oh my God. I just want to see, because it's so much to take in and so much to remember. Like I said, it's been multiple weeks of this trial, and I feel like the closing arguments is the lawyer's last, both the prosecution and defense, it's their last ditch effort to really, either get him convicted or save him from this, And so I just really want to, how long will it be? I wonder if there's a limit. I don't know. Can your closing arguments, can they be an hour? Can they be 3 hours? What are they, 20 minutes? You get what I'm saying? Can the defense just say, you know what? They said this, but this is what you need to prove racketeering. This is what you need to prove this. This is what you need to prove this. And they have not proved this. Therefore, you have to find him not I don't know. I will admit, I was thinking about this because my friend asked me. It was an interesting question. My friend said, let me ask you a question. I was like, what's up? He was like, what do you want to happen? And I was like, what? He said, what do you want to happen? Do you want Diddy to be found guilty or not guilty? And that was such not strange. It was just the question caught me off guard, because I ain't got no dog in this fight, And so I really had to think about it, and I tried to get out of it, because I really didn't have an opinion. I really didn't have a strong opinion one way or the, I just felt I don't think I want anything. I think I just want truth to prevail and fairness and justice to prevail, right? And I know that sounds really ideological, but and so I was that's what I said to my friend. I was I want whatever is right to happen. And he was like, no. But what do you want? Do you think he should go? Do you want to see him in jail or not? And it's so hard to answer a question you don't care about. Either way, you know what I'm saying? I really don't care, I don't think. And so it was very hard to, answer that question. But I will admit that the thing that stumps me in all the videos that I have watched, all of the news reporting, all of the blogger, reporting, all of the conversations online, all of the conversations around the water cooler and at the beauty salon and the barbershop, all of that, all of the conversations in the group messages, the one thing that I guess I don't understand, and I'm not a lawyer, nor a criminal, nor a judge. I just don't understand how you can have a criminal enterprise and it only be you. Because a lot of people say RICO charges were something that was created to get the mob, right? And I just think the mob is an organization, but it's multiple people, right? Then I think about the movie New Jack City, right? When they took down Nino Brown. And I think Nino Brown, I think it was a RICO charge on Nino Brown as well. But then Nino Brown was it ain't just me. I'm taking all. Remember he did kind of what was the character Denzel played in that movie? He had did like, it was kind of like a recreation of that. Like, yeah, I'm not the only one going down for this. It's all of these people that I'm going to name, whether they people in my organization, whether they people that work for me, whether they, police officers that were in, but like, it just seems like how, even when I did not follow this case at all. The, what was the rapper in Atlanta? And now he's with the girl who they say, why is she with him? I don't know, but y'all know. But even he had like co-conspiracy. It's just, I don't understand it enough. Like, I understand the actual, like, why I wonder why they didn't just charge him with actual crimes versus making it like an organization thing. Like, why couldn't he be just charged with like sex trafficking and like prostitution and like, the drug possession with the intent to sell or use or whatever these charges are, without it being like attached to like some criminal organization. That's just me. You guys might know better though. But when my friend asked me, what do you want? Do you want him to be in jail or not? It hit me that it don't even matter. Well, I don't want to say that. I'm sure there's people that's like, no, it does matter. He's a detriment. He's a detriment to the public safety, and he has to be off the streets. And if that is the case, then I don't like no detriments to public safety. I am the public, and I like to feel safe. But jails, I imagine, just sucks. And I imagine it probably does not suck as much for somebody like Diddy, who is, heavily admired, probably put on a pedestal, also has like money and resources to probably, make most situations more comfortable than the rest of us. So jail, like prison sucks, right? It's a federal case, so it would be like a federal prison, and I don't know. And then people say, well, even if he is found guilty, they're pretty sure that Trump would pardon somebody like Diddy. Who knows? But if he is found not guilty, which I'm sure that's what he's hoping. And whether he's pardoned or not, I believe that his public persona, his public currency, his currency with the public is shot. Like, I think his social status has been completely destroyed. Yes, are there still people who would love to be close to Diddy? I'm saying? People love serial killers. I'm not, comparing Diddy to a serial killer, but people love serial killers. You get what I'm saying? Now I feel like I sound like Keke Palmer, right?
It's your girl.
But it's true. People love serial killers. People look, those Menendez brothers, they murdered their parents, right? And they got married in prison. Like, you doing anything heinous, you being in jail for years at a time, for some reason does not limit your dating potential. There's a whole show called Love After Lockup, right? But I think if he is fortunate, if Diddy is fortunate to escape a guilty verdict, and escape jail time, he gotta go to like a private like island and just live out his life there. Just in privacy, in, solitude, maybe Russell Simmons could send him some tapes and he could start sitting Indian style and meditate. And like, he don't need to go to Bali and be there with him. No. But I mean, find his own place, find his own island, and just live out his life there, you know, cut some mangoes, drink some coconut. You know, maybe he can be like a ghost investor in some business ventures to just keep his capital going and growing. You get what I'm saying? So his kids can have like, you know what I'm saying, some nest eggs after he's gone. You know, they can have some, you know what I'm saying, you know, financial security after he's gone. He got to be like, what's that movie that Zoe Kravitz directed that starred Channing Tatum? Where, you know, if you've not seen the movie, spoiler alert, I don't know what the movie is called, but I watched it on a plane and it was quite good. But basically, he was like a celebrity, like a big time celebrity or billionaire, or like millionaire, somebody of like very high status in society. And he was accused of like all of these things. And he made a public apology or whatever. This is like backstory that you find out. They don't like literally show this in the movie, but and then he like publicly apologizes and basically changes his image and becomes like this philanthropist. And he meets this girl at this, he meets this girl who's like a caterer at one of his like charity events or something like that. And, you know, she thinks she's getting like, you know, whisked away, you know, to like, you know, just like an excursion with, you know, like this thing that a lot of girls have, this fantasy that a lot of girls have, that is why probably they fall for Diddy, you know, which is like, oh, this good looking, wealthy guy. And I'm not saying Diddy is good looking, but whatever. This good looking, wealthy guy, you know, sees me and wants to, you know, take me on an adventure and blah, 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 blah. And I'm going to have the time of my life and I can bring one of my friends and da, 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 da. And then you get to the island and you realize they drugging you, raping you, beating you, and then giving you some other drug so that you can't remember none of it happened. That's not what I want Diddy to do. Although if it does end up like the movie, she ended up killing everybody because it was multiple people. It was basically like Epstein. This is not good. I will say this, and I've said this from day one. I am not qualified to say this, but if he is found innocent, then maybe what I'm about to say doesn't matter. But if he is found guilty, I would say he has grounds for an appeal because I don't think his legal team did very well. So am I unreasonable? Anybody that is watching this much more closely than I am, let me know. Do you think his legal team really put on the best defense? I mean, they really didn't have no defense. They only defense was like, and I know that in law, it's like the burden of proof is not on the defendant. The defendant is supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. So the burden of proof is on the prosecution. So I understand that. But I still feel like the defense, even what was reported to the public, like on some cross-examination, it was like, what? And then in the last ditch effort to be like, listen, don't we got stuff with Iran to worry about? Why y'all don't even waste another day or another dollar over here on my client? I know he do the wildest shit. I know. Who knew so much baby oil could fuck up a hotel room? Who knew? But this is little stuff. Don't concern yourself with what's in my client's bedroom. When we got countries we got to worry about. What y'all think? What do you guys think? We might have some information that breaks this week. Like, this will come out and then, I don't know, they're saying that closing arguments, jury deliberation, and then a possible verdict is supposed to be had before July 4th. Somebody said, it was so funny. I can't remember who it was. They was like, July 4th. I want to get this over with before Juneteenth. Can we know what's happening so that we could celebrate Juneteenth, Diddy trial free? What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Do you think that Sean Diddy Combs is going to be found innocent or guilty? Put it in the comments. And if you choose innocent or guilty, let us know why. Okay. All right. Now, before I get out of here, the Ask Z. Okay. So the Ask Z actually comes from one of our regular reasons. Everybody knows Bankroll Fendi. Bankroll Fendi be in the comments a lot on the lives. Bankroll Fendi wrote in and his email starts like this. Hello. I hope this email reaches you in great spirits. Or is it spirit? One of them, laugh out loud. Nevertheless, I've been contemplating on sending this to you for some time now, and my spirit was a little stomped this morning. So I figured nothing hurts to try, right? Just a heads up, this might get a little lengthy. I apologize in advance. At the end of last year, I started creating content on social media, just short comedic clips that I've been posting for almost a year now. My friends have been telling me for over a decade, if not longer, you need to be on someone's stage. You're funny, you create content, get yourself out there, you're talented, etc., etc. However, I am an introvert. I don't really care for engaging with people to that degree. And if I'm being honest, I don't really be liking people like that. Is that unreasonable? You tell me. Laugh out loud. The irony is I have so many gifts that I don't utilize as a creative that I'd like to share with the world. I can write music. I absolutely love music. I write scripts on my downtime. I love film. I love seeing the behind the scenes process of how shows are created. And I used to be a dancer when I was younger. I say used to be, but I can still ball a biatch up on a dance floor if I need to, or if the right beat drops. Sadly, all these gifts, and I don't really know why I have them, how I should be using them, or how any of them align with my purpose. And let me tell y'all, we got about 4 more paragraphs to go, you guys. Bankroll Fendi, when you said you apologize in advance, apology accepted, sir. This is a long Ask Z. Then there's my work life. When I tell you I hate, in all caps, I hate working in the corporate arena. My job wears me out like cheap jeans on a Friday night at the club. It's not even safe for me to be working in anybody's office. Well, that's cap and gown because I'm just talking. I'm a tax-paying citizen and I ain't gonna hurt nobody unless I have to. Laugh out loud. Now, I'm not saying all the laugh out louds, but Bankroll Fendi done wrote about 17 laugh out louds so far in this letter. I say all that to say, this is him. I say all that to say code switching and putting my best foot forward while working in a very toxic work environment has become very draining. I'm legit exhausted and I lack motivation to do anything a lot of the times. I feel as though I am at a real crossroad in life at the big age of 41. Now, I don't necessarily conform to the world standard of you have to have this by this age or you're too old to be doing whatever. Because everyone's journey is different. However, it would be a lie to say that I do feel a bit behind, maybe even lost sometimes. I'm currently looking for a new employer, but I find that I get a bit anxious doing so. The job market is insane right now. Plus, I'm still trying to figure out how to find a job that pays a decent penny, that requires little to no client facing, and isn't so taxing on me mentally, which currently isn't the easiest to find. And although I hate my job, I am thankful to have one to be able to take care of myself. The flip side is I'm struggling with finding the value in it being worth it to pursue the things I'm passionate about or are more drawn to. Of course, I know I can, but I get in my head often after posting clips online. Do they like the video? This didn't get that many views. They didn't agree with this. They might think this is boring. They didn't find this one funny, etc. I try to stay encouraged, but it's tough. Ideally, I'd love to be able to wake up every day and create in whatever capacity my heart desires. A real career in my eyes. To date, I've just worked jobs to make sure I have what I need and or want, which hasn't been the best ride. But if you don't work, you don't eat. And I love me a meal. LOL. I know I gave you a lot to unpack. Listen, told you to bring a carry-on and you packed 3 check luggage. Told you to bring a carry-on. Told you could bring a personal item, Bankroll Fendi, and you done checked luggage and it's over 50 pounds, okay? I know I gave you a lot to unpack, but I am confident you'll give me your authentic take and hopefully sprinkle a little direction and/or words of wisdom on the kid. You know, with you being a successful artist and all. Am I? Sidebar, shout out to you for having sold out shows across the world and having bookings on bookings on bookings. By the way, you are one of them. As the young folks would say, LOL, LOL. I'm saying LOL. He's only said it once. I'll be watching and in the comments per usual when you have time to read this on your live. Thank you in advance, and thank you for being a light, Zainab. I be having some days sometimes, and I'll tune into your live and watch one of your videos, and you'll get me through, even if it's just an escape. No 90s girl group for an hour or so. I greatly appreciate you and the work you're doing on behalf of the Zanies, the Reasons, or whatever we may switch our names to from week to week. We need you and more reasonable people and more reasonable people like you. Please don't take your foot off the gas. Sincerely, James, aka Bankroll Fendi on social media. P.S. I don't mind you saying my name. It's totally up to you. I've written in Ask Z before, and I believe you called me Mufasa. I said it's Bankroll Fendi. That's Mufasa. Bankroll Fendi. That's Mufasa. Call me the Black Superman if you need to. It does not matter. Finally, and one last time, LOL. Okay, let's take this paragraph by paragraph, and then we're going to get up out of here. Thank you so much for writing in, Bankroll Fendi. And let's see, I'm going to try my best to help you. And you're right, it never hurts to try. I was going to share this in the Ask Z as well, but not the Ask Z. I was going to share this in the What's Up with Z. I went to a one-woman show Monday night, and an artist, a writer and storyteller and artist. First of all, it was a great show. It was at the Hollywood Fringe. If you're in Hollywood and want to see it, it's called Grief Baby's First Road Trip, and there's one more show this Saturday. Grief Baby's First Road Trip at the Hollywood Fringe Festival. And this woman, young woman, she lives in DC, and she came to my DC shows, and she loved my DC shows. She watches all my stuff online. She's a fan of my comedy. And so she just reached out to me. She reached out to me via DM and was like, hey, I am going to be in, Los Angeles, and I believe that's where you live. And I'm a part of this Fringe Festival. I'm putting on my one woman show, and I would love to invite you to the show. If you're interested and available, I can leave you, a ticket at the door and blah, blah, blah. Blah. And I looked at the dates that she gave me, and I was in Los Angeles and was able to make availability that Monday night, and I went to see her show, and I loved it. So yes, it never hurts to try. You may get nothing, but you may get exactly what you want. And she said to me, she was like, wow, I can't believe it. Somebody that I'm always watching has now seen my stuff. And I was like, not only have I seen your stuff, I enjoyed your stuff. I am rooting for your stuff. I'm so thrilled to have experienced your stuff. Keep going, because your stuff is great. Okay, so you started posting content on social media. Your friends tell you that you're funny. Your friends tell you that you should be on somebody's stage, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And you started posting content on social media. You are an artist. Like, at heart, you're an artist. You write scripts, you dance, you like the process of things being made. You like the creative process. You love music, you write music. This is all good. You're 41 years old, Bankroll Fendi, which is fine. Age ain't none but a number. And we ain't using it in the, way that we found our R. Kelly. We ain't using it in that way. We using it in a real way. Age is nothing but a number. I love those videos where they show you like, like a Helen Mirren, or they show you like an actress in Black Panther. And it's like, her, she started acting at 72 years old and her big role came at the age 76. That's a time in life where the world, the narrative from the world is like, it's over for you. Sit your ass down in a wheelchair, shut up, collect your SSI, and be nice to your grandkids. So, but I believe that that's the beauty of life. As long as we are living and breathing, then there's still an opportunity. There's still an opportunity for us to pursue whatever it is that we want to pursue, whether that be love, whether that be something in our career, whether that be a hobby, a passion, whether that be a physical location. As long as we are breathing, as long as we are capable, as long as we are living, that right there is confirmation for you to try to do what you want to do. I don't have a lot of experience working in a corporate job. So I'm gonna answer this question. And I imagine, I can imagine, because as much as I don't work in a corporate job, as an artist, I am paid by corporations, right? Like my special Hijabs Off is an Amazon Prime original. So I'm essentially paid by that corporation, a very big corporation, a corporation that, for the most part, ain't really a great corporation. I am on Upload. Upload is a TV show that is on Amazon Prime. And that is, as I said, what I just said, right? And so I know what it's like to a certain extent to have the parameters of this bigger entity that sort of has a bit of a controlling factor in your life, but I don't know what that feels. I don't have much experience of that being a direct, like I'm not in a corporate environment. I'm not like in an office, in a cubicle, do you get what I'm saying? Like having to report to a supervisor, having to, like, I don't have much of that experience, but I can imagine, just because of people's idiosyncrasies, microaggressions, racism, prejudices, et cetera, on top of mental illness and people being incapable of doing their job, all of those things. I just said, man, I just know the human condition. And I also know the majority of people working like in the workforce are not happy at their jobs, because the workforce ain't really set up for you to be happy. The workforce is set. What you gotta understand is the original workforce in this country was what? The enslavement of an entire group of people. So this whole capitalistic workforce ain't even really set up for your joy or your happiness. Sure, they'll try to appease you a little bit if that is going to generate a better worker, if that's going to generate a harder worker, if that is going to produce more for them. But other than that, they not really interested in, like, they're not interested in paying you a whole lot. They're not interested they're not interested in like you being happy and like loving work for the most part, right? But as you said, Bankroll Fendi, aka James, aka Mufasa, or Superman, as you said, we gotta eat. That's something that we also have to think about. There's jobs, even as an artist, there's jobs that I take that don't necessarily excite me, but I got a mortgage to pay, and I have insurance to pay, and property taxes, and health insurance, and I feel better when I'm in a position to help my mom and my siblings, and like that, and I like I like to be able to eat the things that I want. And, and so this requires me to work, whether I like it or not. And so I understand that. As much as I might not work in a corporate environment, I understand that. But two things. One, I'm going to use my lovely friend Tabitha Brown as an example. Tabitha, this is a story. I'm not telling any part of her story that she has not already told. I'm going to tell a very abridged version. In terms of people that are, have these like passions and like these creative ambitions and really want to lean into those endeavors, and you're stuck at you're stuck in some like job that goes against everything that like fulfills you and brings you joy. But like you said, we got to eat, we got to pay our rent, we got to, whatever. My friend said that her life didn't really unlock in that way until she honored like her true self, until she was willing to like go out on a limb and trust that when she left the thing that was causing her grief, that when she left the environment that she felt was severely toxic, when she did that, then that's when, and it was a rough patch. I remember when she decided to go drive Uber. I remember that, and I was against it. I was like supportive, and I was like, well, when do you plan on doing it? And where do you plan on driving? And I had anxiety for my friend who was a woman. And as much as I don't get in anybody's Uber, acting a fool, I know that people do. And it's like, I just felt like she was a woman and people got to sit behind her. And, I don't know. I just had a lot of anxiety around it. But she trusted her gut. She trusted her conversations with God. She trusted spirit. She trusted her prayers. She trusted that. And look, now she's the world's Auntie Tab with multiple businesses, you probably created generational wealth, having a good old time in all of her creative endeavors, doing a bunch of stuff, commercials, kids shows, live shows, romantic shows, cooking, Target. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Hairs to everything. But she had to push past that, that uncertainty and that fear also. And I think she posts this a lot, and this is something that I can speak to as well. So she'll post like the days where she was first posting videos, right? Stuff online, and it wasn't getting no likes. It was getting 100 likes or whatever. And she posts the progression, right? Like the first video or the first live where she had much more viewers, or the first, thing where she got 10,000 to, like 1,000 likes. Like she posts all of that. It is a progression. Bankroll Fendi, I completely understand like those thoughts like, okay, well, I am posting, and what if they don't like it? Well, this one is not getting any engagement. Well, that one got more engagement. Do they find this funny? I think that you can't really think about that. Like, I love doing this podcast. I have to figure out how I can consistently do this podcast, but I really love the community that I am creating and growing through my personal desire to be as reasonable as possible in every situation. I love that you guys are out there calling yourself the Reasons or the Zanies and making t-shirts and coming out to my show. Like, I love it. I look at the views and I be like, dang, these views is so low. I'm doing all of this for 2,000 views a week. Then sometimes I watch other podcasts, and unfortunately, I don't want to succumb to like, all right, well, I could do the clickbait and I could talk about the stuff that everybody's talking about, or I could say wild shit or disrespectful shit, or I could just, you know what I'm saying? Like to create more, viral moments and views and things like that. I have to just trust that what I'm doing is working, even if in a very small way for a very long time, or in ways that I'm not even aware of at this point. Even you saying, thank you for being a light, Zainab. That right there is that goes way further than my 2,000 views. And let me just tell you, I want to see 50,000 views on the podcast. I want to see 100,000 views on the podcast. But the only way I'm going to see that is if I keep doing it. So my advice to you is find a way to do both. Find a way. Good luck in your job search. I can't really help you with like how you find a job. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't even know. I ain't had like fortunately, I remember when I was pitching a TV show and I was talking about how the character ain't have a job. The character was like based on me. And I remember I was in the pitch and I was like, yeah, I ain't had like a regular job in so long. If I had to get a regular job tomorrow, I would have to go to Google. I would have to copy and paste somebody else's resume. When the last time I wrote a resume? So good luck. I imagine, and I've heard through, different Ask Z's that the job market is tough right now. It's tough. Everything is tough in our country right now, in the world right now. It's tough. So find something that is, or I hope you find something rather that provides you with the wage that allows you, that makes it worth it for you to wake up and go to that job every day. And I hope that it not only provides you with that wage, but also enough. I hope it doesn't tax you so that you can't be creative outside of it. I'm not sure, Bankroll Fendi, if you have children, if you are married, if you're in a relationship, but if not, that means you got time. That means after work, you got time to apply. To some people, they got to go to work, and then when they come home, they got to take care of their kids. They got to feed their family. They got to give back. They got to, you know what I'm saying? They got to do all of these things. Take care of they elderly, all of these things. But if you don't have any of those other responsibilities, then, make a deal with yourself. Truly, say it out loud to yourself. I am going to go to this job to support myself financially. And when I am done with this job, I am going to leave this job. Every day I'm going to leave that job. I'm going to leave work at work. And I am going to gift myself with creativity. I am going to gift myself with practicing, with doing something that creatively fulfills me. I am going to gift myself with doing it consistently. And because I love it, because I'm doing it because I love it and not for validation and not to be famous. Although I know we all want success, but I'm doing it because it makes me feel good. It makes me feel purposeful. It makes me feel like I am. I want to explore these gifts that I have. And I am going to do this with the intentions that eventually I will be doing more of my art. I will be leaning more into my creative bag and less into this corporate bag and this bag that is, in service of somebody else's business. But that's all that you can do for now. That's a lot. That's a lot to decide that, unless you want to do the struggle artist thing. You want to just quit all the money, just be in your car and just be making videos from your car and be like, hey, this is day one in my car. And maybe hope that, When I listen to a lot of people's stories and, what's the guy who does the food reviews in his car? When I listen to just a lot of people's stories, especially like if you're looking for like online success, a lot of people just say that they did it. They do it. They do it. And then, and eventually it pays off. That's it. Eventually it pays off. And you have to know and believe that is what's going to happen. I hope that helped. Good luck. I'll see you on the live this weekend. And that is it. That is it for me. Thank you so much. If you guys want to send in an Ask Z, you can drop it in the comments, of course, or you can email me at ZainabComedyVIP@gmail.com. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of I'm Reasonable. Until I see you guys again, stay reasonable. Bye.